Salute, salute, salute. Wow. What's happening? What it is, what it do. It's Nocturnal Thoughts, man. Nocturnal Thoughts. I want to talk about real quick this fight coming up. Josh Taylor, the Tornado, versus the Takeover, Teofimo Lopez. Now, this fight has a lot of intangibles, X factors. I'm gonna do my best not to do anything below the belt. Keep it, you know what I'm saying, boxing, and keep it, you know what I'm saying, old school rules. No eye gouging, no groin shots. You feel me? I like both of these fighters. I like both of these fighters inside the ring, especially. And I watched both of these fighters kind of in the last few years. I kept my eye on them. Teofimo Lopez, in my opinion, at one point in time, he showed a lot of potential to be the best out of that little group of the four kings, the four princes, you know what I'm saying? Teofimo Lopez, Gervonta Tank Davis, Devin Haney, and Ryan Garcia was like the four kings. More like the Game of Thrones, the princes. You've seen them kind of go all their separate ways, and it's kind of coming back, you know what I mean, to show how their lives changed from the time they was young and before they became champions and pay-per-view stars. And they all doing pretty good, if you ask me, you know, despite, because ain't nobody perfect, but they all doing pretty damn good. Ryan Garcia is making a fortune, and he's training with Derek James now. Gervonta Tank Davis is arguably, I hate that, arguable, the face of boxing. Just had a huge fight where he knocked out Ryan Garcia. Devin Haney just had a huge fight where he defended his undisputed title and, you know what I'm saying, defended his undisputed against Lomachenko. And who else? Gervonta Tank Davis, Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez won against Lomachenko a couple of years ago. Lost against George Kambosos. Moved up to 140. Fought this one guy, I forgot his name. Knocked him out. Then he just fought against Sandor Martin and had a close victory. Same thing with the Tornado, Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor ran through that tournament, and he fought like Ivan Baranchek, and he fought the Rougarou Regis Prograis. Then he fought Jose Ramirez, I think, if I'm saying his name correctly. Became undisputed. Then he had to fight against Jack Catterall. Had a close call, controversial kind of a victory that was questioned, like a gift victory. So Josh Taylor, coming off of a questionable victory, he said basically what happened was he kind of over celebrated. After he became undisputed, he kind of took his eyes off the prize and got a little undisciplined. He felt like that affected him in his fight against Jack Catterall. Jack Catterall scored a knockdown. I think there was some points taken. It was kind of a back and forth fight. I think championship rounds or the later rounds, I think Josh Taylor kind of really pushed to, you know what I'm saying, earn some of those earlier rounds back. I just thought Josh Taylor was off. His timing was off. It looked like to me he was really trying to force it. He was overshooting his jab. He was smothering his own work, his footwork. You know, he just didn't look like the same Josh Taylor I've seen fight against that Ivan Baranchek or against Regis Prograis or against Ramirez. You know what I'm saying? He had COVID. I believe he had COVID. And I think he had an injury to his knee or something, or to his leg, that I remember. Same thing with Teofimo Lopez. After he won against Vasily Lomachenko, he had an injury. Oh, I'm talking about injuries. You know, and nobody, you know what I'm saying, gonna be going through this whole thing without an injury. But Teofimo Lopez he had an injury after he fought against the Matrix. People was giving the Matrix a pass because the Matrix said he had hurt his shoulder or elbow or his back or something, and his shoulder had been bothering him for a couple of years or whatever. And Teofimo Lopez said, look, man, I had an injury too, to his ankle or to his knee or something, but I remember him having like a little boot on, and he was still in the gym doing pull-ups even though he had a boot on. He was going to fight against George Kambosos, and he went through the whole situation with Trilla, and the fight kept getting postponed, and it went to a purse bid, and had to kind of redo camp and remake the weight. He went into that fight. He had his issues. He came up short. It was a close fight. But after he lost that fight and he got his belts taken from him, he goes up to 140. And he has a fight against this guy. I can't remember his name, but he knocked him out. And I was watching that fight because I wanted to see how Teofimo Lopez looked at 140. Would he look stronger? Would he look healthier? It was interesting to see what he would look at 140, right? Because we know they all going to 140 eventually. Devin Haney going to 140. Gervonta Tank Davis, he can fight at 140 if he wants to. He fought Mario Barrios at 140. Shakur Stevenson, or Shakur Stevenson, he probably is going to go up to 140 eventually, especially if these guys are going to be chasing Devin Haney. Devin Haney probably going up to 140. So Teofimo went up there first, got his feet wet, fought against this dude, knocked him out, and then he had to fight against Sandor Martin. And the Sandor Martin fight was a little tricky because I don't think it went according to plan. I think they didn't have a great fight. And you can go back and look at Teofimo Lopez even in the 135. Here and there, he would have little hiccups. Masayoshi Nakatani was kind of a hiccup fight where he didn't perform as great as he was projected to. He looked good against Richard Coleman, but that was an early round knockout, second round knockout maybe. And even in some of his other fights, I can't remember the names, but some guys that I don't want to say he struggled with, but you could kind of see that if he can't knock you out and get you out of there, then sometimes he just starts to freestyle and doesn't have the best performance. Josh Taylor, to me, usually stays nice and tight in the ring, as far as he'd get in there, fight you in the wheelhouse, shoulder shrug you, and then counter. A little crafty, cagey, strong. Sometimes they always call him like an adrenaline junkie. I feel like sometimes he, to his detriment, fights that style that's a little too Arturo Gatti-ish. You know what I'm saying? Where like you taking punishment that you shouldn't necessarily have to take. My thing is this. To me, Teofimo Lopez relies on getting those knockouts. Relies on that power. And he did rely on his power against Lopez. Not Lopez, but Lomachenko. And he had Joey Gamache in his corner for that Lomachenko fight. And when you watch the first 7 rounds, whether it's because Lomachenko had a shoulder injury or it's because Lopez was hurting that body and he had that power that was threatening Lomachenko, I know that Gamache helped train Otto Wallin to fight against Tyson Fury. And he helped train Teofimo Lopez. The first 7 rounds, Teofimo Lopez was completely shutting out Lomachenko. And after that 7th round, Teofimo Lopez was going back to the corner. Teofimo Lopez Sr. was like, "It's a blowout." And after that, it stopped being a blowout. I've heard people criticize Teofimo Lopez Sr. for not being the greatest trainer. I don't think that Junior should take Senior out of the equation, but he should add to his team, in my opinion. Going into this fight with Josh Taylor, I'm giving more advantages to Josh Taylor, physically and mentally. I feel like Josh Taylor is going to take over this fight down the stretch. I think he's going to take over and dominate. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a knockout in the later rounds. Rounds 10, 11, and 12. I would not be surprised if you see Teofimo Lopez get a TKO. You know what I'm saying? Just for things outside of the ring that I'm not going to talk about, and mental things and things like, I'm not going to go down that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to go down that. But that's not to count Teofimo Lopez out. He a live dog in this fight. He has shown me that he do got heart. He is a fighter to the finish. And I feel like he does have some confidence in himself. You know what I mean? I feel like he does have some confidence in himself, and Josh Taylor gonna have to beat it out of him. So we'll see if that can happen. If it don't end up being a TKO or a knockout, I got Josh Taylor winning by decision. When I visualize that fight, I kind of see I see Teofimo Lopez having some of the same issues that he had against Kambosos and that he had against Sandor Martin. And I don't think he hits hard enough to knock out Josh Taylor. I don't see Teofimo Lopez hitting harder than Regis Prograis. Regis Prograis is a thumper. Rougarou, to me, he's not even the greatest boxer in the world, but the boy can thump. You know what I'm saying? You can just tell he got little grenades. He just punch with mean intentions. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing really pretty about the Rougarou style. It's just strictly to try to do damage and break you down. And Teofimo Lopez kind of got explosive power. Past that is athleticism, and he can kind of make it up on the fly. He got some great reflexes and instincts. But where I see him falling short is if once that fails, then to me, his plan B is more of just putting on a show for the crowd. You know what I'm saying? He is he's a showman, and he likes to entertain the crowd. And I feel like sometimes he can't go out there and knock you out. He don't just go back into, like when Gervonta Tank Davis realized he wasn't going to knock out Pitbull Cruz, he didn't start trying to put a whole bunch of flash and like make it pretty. He just turned into some boxing defensive. I'm gonna spin you and hit you and not get hit. But he changed his game plan once he couldn't knock out Pitbull Cruz. It showed another wrinkle to Gervonta Tank Davis's abilities. Sometimes Teofimo Lopez, to me, when he can't get that knockout, then he regresses to trying to entertain the crowd. Like he starts doing kind of jokesters type stuff. Like I seen him struggle to get this one guy. This is at 135. I seen him struggle to get somebody out of there, and he's doing little tricks like hitting you behind. Like he'll hit you here and turn and hit you here. You know, come up underneath you and hit you there. Or he'll do some stuff where he lift his leg up, do some little kung fu moves, lift his leg up, and then catch you. And it's like, oh, that's fine and well when you showcasing your abilities to do. Like, you know, Gervonta Tank Davis, when he's fighting Ryan Garcia, he can spin around, playing around, and then hit you. Or, you know, different showboating, people that can showboat. Jerron Boots in this, and they can do little stuff. They can do little Sugar Ray Leonards, and they can do a little fake Muhammad Ali foot shuffle. But when they in a tough battle, some of them just know how to really grit down and still just fundamentally box and win a fight. Teofimo Lopez, I haven't seen that from him, not at 140 especially. Just grit down and just win a boxing match against a guy without just knocking him out, blowing him out of the water. And Josh Taylor is a gritty gritty dude. And if you hit that dude and you don't kill him, because I heard some controversial talk about that, and I'm not gonna get into that right now. But if you don't kill that dude, you're gonna have to. You have to kill a guy like Josh Taylor. You have to, because if he hurt, he just gonna keep coming. You know what I'm saying? They call him an adrenaline junkie. He liked to bang. He liked to bang, bang, bang. Shouts out to John Witherspoon, rest in peace. He liked to bang, 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 man. So I don't see Teofimo Lopez just really banging it out punch for punch like that. To me, he more explosive and counterish and kind of like to have his time to, you know what I'm saying? He like to be able to catch his second wind and think of little creative, cool stuff to do inside the ring. You don't just stick to, okay, this ain't working. All right, let me just jab this dude and keep my distance. He can. I ain't saying he can't do it, but I don't know if he can do it without the proper training and coach to be like, all right, look, you ain't gonna be able to do a whole lot of razzle dazzle. This is gonna be some basic, you know what I'm saying, one punch at a time, 12 round, brutal, grueling fight. This ain't gonna be pretty. This ain't gonna be flashy. This gonna be, you know what I'm saying, a war. And I just don't see Teofimo Lopez doing that from the 6th round on out. I see him doing it for the first couple of rounds, having his moments, being explosive, and then I see him slowing down, losing the ability to be creative, not, you know what I'm saying, being repetitive and doing the same. And then I feel like he's just gonna start to kind of mentally unravel, and then from that point on, Josh Taylor gonna just start taking over and winning the fight, breaking them down and winning. Now, I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Let the best man win. Those are just my thoughts. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Salute.